Have you ever dreamed about owning a home by the sea? Or are you looking for a great investment opportunity in the Israeli property market? Don't miss this exclusive pre-sale opportunity to buy your dream home by the sea. Introducing Yamim Hatzira, a new residential neighborhood being developed adjacent to Ir Yamim in South Netanya. Ir Yamim, also known as the City by the Sea, is surrounded by beautiful beaches and natural reserves with direct access to major traffic routes and the major business hubs in Tel Aviv and Haifa. Enjoy an outdoor lifestyle with modern parks, playgrounds and sporting facilities, with state-of-the-art schools, malls and community centers. This is a perfect place to raise a family. Built by renowned developers, Yuvalim, this modern complex will include 14 buildings with 872 newly built apartments of various sizes. For a limited time, you can take advantage of excellent pre-sale prices and payment terms when you select of your dream apartment. Do you want to know more? Join our webinar to meet with representatives of the Netanya municipality and Israel property experts. Monday the 4th of April. Register today.
Well, thank you and welcome to everyone who's joined us. That was just a short promo video talking about our exciting webinar tonight. I want to welcome our panelists. Thank you for joining us. I know it's different times all over the world, but in Israel it's pretty late. It's 9 p.m. So we appreciate your time. Our aim with this webinar is to give you as much information as we can about the area of South Netanya. And each of our panelists are going to touch on different topics. I'm going to ask some questions, and there will be opportunity to put your questions in the Q&A section, and hopefully we'll get to it in the Q&A at the end of the webinar. I just want to specify before we start this webinar that our representative Lizzie Oron from the Netanya municipality is representing the city of Netanya and no commercial opportunity that we talk about in this webinar. Lizzie, thank you so much for joining us. We're very excited to have you. I met you 3 weeks ago and you inspire me about Netanya. So tell us why Netanya is so special. Why has it become such a popular city in Israel?
Hi, everybody. My name is Lizzie Oron, and I'm the deputy and the head of operation of the city. Netanya has about 260,000 residents. It's the seventh largest city in Israel. It's located between Tel Aviv and Haifa and can be reached from anywhere in the country easily and conveniently. The city is divided to about 20 districts. And across the city, we have over 200 public parks. Only this is one of the famous things of Netanya. And near the Kiryat Nordo neighborhood, there is also a large metropolitan park. And next to it is an urban nature reserve, the Ir Reserve Park, which they are very, very beautiful places and makes the area very, very nice. The city has 9 regulated and most beautiful beaches in the country. Poleg Beach is near the Kiryat Nordo and neighborhood, and it's one of the most beautiful beaches in the city. Over the coming year, the city is promoting to construct the construction of number of large neighborhoods, as well as many urban renewal projects in the city center and around the neighborhoods. Netanya has developed active and colorful city center, as well as large and attractive shopping centers and malls. It has about 100 schools and almost 400 kindergartens with a wide variety of ways of education. You can find here anything. And we have over 250 synagogues, for all types of prayers and different traditions. Netanya is known as the Riviera of Israel and has about 20 large hotels and some other hotels planned to construction in the coming years. We really have a beautiful city with beautiful and very warmly residents, very warmly and many kinds of people, which makes Netanya very warm, very family, even if it's big. And this is one of the unique special things of Netanya, as well as it looks, and living here is really a nice place to be. And you are most welcome to come to Netanya.
Thank you, Lizzie. It's certainly one of my favorite cities to visit. I made Aliyah with my family 3 years ago. I forgot to introduce myself. Apologies for that. To those people who don't know me, who have just joined, I'm Nikki Raz. I work with the Hold Real Estate team, running the marketing communication division. And certainly Netanya was a choice, a very high priority choice when we wanted to make Aliyah. We landed up settling in Ra'anana, but I love visiting Netanya. Lizzie, I want to talk a little bit about South Netanya, because that's become a very sought after area for certainly a lot of Anglo speakers. And this project in particular that we're going to talk about is situated in an area called Kiryat Nordo. And I read an article just last week saying that your municipality has approved a big urban renewal project. And just to give you some stats, the urban renewal project will include 4,900 new housing units, space for new public buildings, about 30,000 square meters of commercial space, and 10,000 square meters of employment areas and open spaces. Tell us a bit more about this. What kind of, taking an older area like this and renewing it, what does that mean for the community, for the area, for Netanya?
First of all, it changes the whole neighborhood, because it's bring many more people to the neighborhood and to the south of Netanya. In order to get it all, we have to build new schools. We have to develop new parks, to renew many places around this place. We have to adjust ourselves to the new people who come, and also to the new apartments, which probably many people would like to live there, because it's next to the parks, it's next to the beach, it's next to the enter and the exit from the city to Tel Aviv. It's very easy to get in and get out. So we have some things that we know that will make it very attractive.
Great. I see quite a lot of questions in the chat box asking about the exact location of the development. We're going to get into much more detail about the specific development when we speak to Mickey Cohen and Julian once we finish with Lizzie. And Lizzie, there was one more question that I wanted to ask you about the support for Olim. I know that you have a whole department. I know that Alan's going to speak just now, and he spoke very highly of the team that you have. Give us a sense of what kind of support there is. Where can New Olim find information about Netanya, about education, about business opportunities? Just give some guidelines to the people who are online who want to find out more, whether they live in Israel and want to move to Netanya, or whether they want to make Aliyah.
When people make Aliyah to Netanya, as you say, there's a department which deals with the Olim, and they escort them and they get them through the registered to schools, and they match which kind of school is good for everyone, for each Ole. they help them to find, of course, the residents. They help them to find, we have an ulpan in Netanya. They don't have to go out of the city to learn Hebrew. We have an ulpan. We have a lot of business areas which are very developed and very wide, and also very, there's a lot of business options that can match to each one of the Ole, and we escort them, we get them, and we help them. And I know that Ellen can tell you more about how he got into Netanya and all the helps that he got.
His experience. I see we have a question around the reserve, the Iris Reserve, and the plans for that and what's being developed there. I'm not sure that you can answer that question, or maybe Mickey can answer that question.
The development of the park?
There's the Iris Reserve where they're building, and there used to be a recycling center.
No, it's like a park.
A reserve.
It's a reserve area which has a very unique flower, which calls Irus, that grows up almost only there, all over the country. And during March, April, May, it depends on the weather. It's a very nice place to come and to see the unique flower, and they are coming from all over the country to see it. And we are not building, and we are not going to build on it. We are not going to develop it. It's reserved area, and we're not going to touch it.
Okay.
Yeah, they're talking about the north of the reserve, where is the recycling trash.
Okay, over
Netanya
there.
now are dealing with it to move everything from there. And it will be in the future, it will be a new neighborhood of towers.
It will be, in the future, it's going to be a very nice neighborhood. It's going to call the Harmony, the Beach Harmony, the Beach Symphony. It's going to be first line to the beach, very, very nice buildings and small houses. It's going to be a very nice area.
Great. Lizzie, thank you so much for your time. We'll hopefully get to some more questions towards the end. I want to just move on to our next guest, Ellen Frankel. You are living currently in Ir Yamim. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and we want to hear what it's like to live in the area.
Thank you, Nikki. Good evening, everybody. My wife and I and son, well, my wife and I we grew up in South Africa, and then we went to, spent nearly 20 years in Oxford in the UK, and we made Aliyah from England to Ir Yamim. How we chose Ir Yamim was interesting. We didn't know it existed. When we decided to make Aliyah, it was simply, we wanted to live on a beach. We wanted to be north of Tel Aviv and close enough to Tel Aviv that if we wanted to go to a meeting or go to the theater or something, it was a quick commute or drive. And that's exactly what happened with Tel Aviv.
A picture of your son. That's so cute.
This is our little man, Gabriel, and part of the reason for moving, we wanted to bring him up on a beach. And this is him dressed up in his workman's outfit, building our sukkah. And this is our sukkah overlooking the Iris Reserve that everybody spoke about earlier. If you were to see the Iris Reserve now, it's packed with people because the irises are blooming. And it's just wonderful. So you can drop the picture, Nikki.
Okay, we'll take the picture down. Very cute.
Any case, so we made Aliyah about 4 years ago, and Gabriel doesn't speak a word of English, a word of Hebrew. We don't speak a word of Hebrew at all, but Gabriel is fluent, completely fluent, which he got from gun and school. But choosing a gun and a school was quite an issue in our lives, and and it was a huge issue until we came across this incredible angel called Tanya at the absorption ministry in Netanya, and she just goes out to bat and fight for you, and will pick up the phone and get your kid into schools and find the right school. And she's a teacher herself, and I can say we've been to some meetings and we've arrived in tears and left happy, and she's just amazing.
You're not the first person, Alan, that's told me how wonderful the staff at the absorption center are.
Well, I would strongly advise that whoever, if you are making Aliyah, be in touch with Tanya or her team before you arrive, well before you arrive, to make sure that on day one when you arrive, your kids go to school. Because to start the process like we did when, Gabriel was 3, it was okay, but if it can take a few weeks, and the journey is not simple. And if you can sort your kids out in advance with somebody like Tanya, who's an angel, go for it.
Great. We'll hopefully get Tanya's details and share that with people who want to know. Tell us a little bit more about the community. You mentioned a lot of people are looking at this new neighborhood with the view in mind of bringing up kids, and obviously synagogues are a big consideration. I know that you shared some stuff with me earlier. Do you want to just touch on that?
So when we made Aliyah, we chose it not because of friends or family. We chose it for the location, and the location is fantastic. And when we got our apartment, the first night I had to work out how to order pizza ourselves, because we had no friends, no nothing in the neighborhood. And that has completely changed. The friendships that have been built and the support WhatsApp groups are just phenomenal. And there's a men's group, which they're kind of my age with young kids and whatever, and we arranged to go to the park on Shabbos, and there are 50 men on the group. But a much more interesting group, there's an Anglo ladies group in Ir Yamim, of which there are, just checked with my wife, there are 233 on the ladies on the main group, and then there are 75 for ladies with kids below the age of 12, 83 for people just from South Africa. There's a golden girls group of 60 and above. It's just incredible.
It's something for everybody.
And the network and the support is amazing. There are 2 shuls, there are probably more, but there's a Chabad across the road, and it's a magnificent building that's just been finished. And then there's a young Israel shul, which we're members of, and it's amazing because, do you want to just pull up last week's newsletter I sent you, Nikki?
Sure. What shul don't you go to, Alan? It must be
the one that hasn't.
Let's pull up the shul newsletter so we can show people watching. Like I almost felt like I was back in Johannesburg.
So what's really amazing is they have shares in English, shares in Hebrew. The newsletter comes out in English and in Hebrew, and there's something for everybody. It's not like you're an afterthought if you can't speak Hebrew or you can't read Hebrew. You're very much welcome, and it's evidenced by the newsletter that comes out.
Can we pull up slide number 2? Hopefully he's listening to us.
I am indeed. Sorry, that's what you meant by the show.
Yes, slide number 2. We just want to show people Alan wanted to share what the shul newsletter is, just to get a sense of the activities that happen on a weekly basis in the most. There we go.
The most important is that there was a Dvar and Dvash. It's given in English on Shabbos, and it just happened to be a guest speaker from the community from Bournemouth, who's a lawyer in the community. Then you can see everything's here. There's a shiur in Hebrew, a shiur in English, and the Parsha of the week explanation. It's wonderful.
Wonderful. Thank you.
And it should give people some comfort that you can come to Ir Yamim and go to shul and actually, it's in English. It's not all in English. I mean, we are living in Israel.
Yes.
And I have to sometimes remind myself of that.
Okay, great. Thank you, Danny. We can take this slide down. Last question, Alan. What are your thoughts about the new neighborhood project that we're going to be speaking about soon? And we're gonna interview Mickey next and go into a lot more detail about this opportunity and this development. But as a resident of Ir Yamim, what are your thoughts?
I think, first of all, everything comes down to location and supply and demand. And one thing about Israel, sadly, they're not making more land, and there's a growing demand, massively growing demand, and the infrastructure is there. You can see the malls are there, the shops are there, the piano center is truly world class, and I think it's going to be amazing. And I think the municipality is investing in the infrastructure around it as well, in terms of the roads, the access points. So I think it's amazing. I think it's wonderful.
Great. Thank you, Alan. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being with us tonight.